The noise before the awakening. The modern world hums like a restless machine. Notifications blink through the night. Goals multiply faster than hours, and the mind is rarely still. Every morning begins with a race that no one remembers signing up for. Scrolls of comparison, deadlines that never end, and advice that drowns in contradiction. People chase productivity the way ancient seekers chased enlightenment, but most end up exhausted, not fulfilled. We live connected to everything except ourselves. This is the first great illusion of our time, mistaking motion for meaning. The body may move, the mind may spin, yet the inner compass remains silent. We accumulate information, but lose orientation. The average person touches their phone thousands of times a day, but rarely touches their own thoughts. Focus has become the new luxury, peace the new rebellion. In this noise, confidence decays quietly. When attention is scattered, energy leaks. When energy leaks, identity blurs. Every generation faces its own war, and for ours, the battlefront is internal. The enemy is distraction disguised as opportunity, and the weapon is overstimulation that looks like choice. Many men wake one morning feeling strangely hollow despite their ambition. They've been sprinting without direction. The realization arrives slowly, like dawn creeping under a door. Success without self-command is just noise at a higher volume. Inner mastery begins when a man stops running from silence. It starts the moment he asks, what if focus itself is power? What if my energy is the currency I've been spending carelessly? From that question, the path begins not toward more achievement, but toward control of the source behind it. The first awakening. Taking back the energy. The first awakening rarely looks heroic. It often starts with burnout, heartbreak, or an ordinary evening when the noise finally feels heavier than the body can hold. A man sees his reflection in the black glass of his phone and wonders when he last felt alive without validation. Something deep whispers, enough. That whisper is ancient. It is the call to self-governance that built every empire, painted every masterpiece, and forged every leader. To answer that call, he doesn't need a new app, guru, or secret ritual. He needs stillness, the discipline to stop feeding everything that drains him. He learns that energy is not endless, it's a reservoir. Every impulsive habit, every emotional overreaction, every needless argument is a leak in the tank. The modern world profits from those leaks, so closing them feels unnatural at first. But slowly, silence begins to feel like strength instead of boredom. He begins to notice patterns. When he directs his attention fully into one task, lifting, writing, studying, the world slows, and time expands. Results that once took weeks happen in days. Confidence returns, not from applause, but from evidence. I can command myself. That sentence alone changes posture, speech, even presence. This is the first law of inner mastery. Energy obeys attention. The man who governs his focus governs his fate. From that point, discipline ceases to be punishment. It becomes engineering. He is no longer reacting to life, he is building it. Each choice becomes a brick in a structure called self-respect. The discipline of stillness and focus. Real power doesn't shout, it listens. It's not born from endless activity, but from refined attention. In an era where everyone is multitasking, the rare man who can give full focus to one thing becomes magnetic. Stillness is not laziness, it's leveraged. Through stillness, he can hear the data beneath noise, the truth behind emotion, the pattern behind chaos. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act. The disciplined act until motivation appears. Discipline begins in the smallest places. Waking with purpose instead of alarms. Controlling breathing before replying in anger. Finishing what was started before seeking something new. These habits seem ordinary, but they are sacred repetitions training the nervous system to obey intention. Every time he honors his own word, even in private, confidence grows like muscle memory. Self-trust becomes the new adrenaline. Focus sharpens perception. The man who controls his attention begins to sense subtle details others miss, opportunities in conversations, patterns in markets, sincerity in silence. The distracted mind consumes. The focused mind creates. This is how innovators, athletes, and leaders separate themselves. They channel all energy into a single direction until reality bends to meet conviction. And yet, the hardest part of discipline is consistency. When no one applauds, there will be days when the work feels invisible, when old habits whisper to return to comfort. But mastery is not a moment, it's maintenance. Just as an athlete trains long after the stadium empties, the man devoted to mastery works quietly when nobody is watching. Stillness becomes the forge where strength is made unseen. Transformation, from reaction to direction. Something shifts when a man realizes he's no longer reacting to the world, but directing it. Before, life felt like a series of accidents. He responded to moods, trends, algorithms, or praise. Now, through discipline, he starts to move differently. He speaks less, but with precision. He plans without obsession, acts without panic. The same world that once overwhelmed him now bends to his rhythm because he has rhythm within. Transformation is subtle at first. Confidence stops being a performance. It becomes gravity. Others notice not because he's louder, but because he's quieter. People are drawn to the calm that radiates from someone who is not easily moved. This calm doesn't mean apathy, it means direction. He doesn't waste energy defending every opinion or chasing every distraction because he knows his target. With inner mastery, even setbacks become fuel. When things fall apart, he no longer collapses. Pain stops being punishment and turns into feedback. This mental alchemy, turning adversity into adjustment, is what separates the reactive from the sovereign. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he asks, "What is this teaching me?" Transformation is not mystical, it's mechanical. It's the process of upgrading one's internal software so that external storms no longer crash the system. The man who once scattered his focus now channels it like light through glass, intense, deliberate, unstoppable. His emotions no longer command him. They inform him, he doesn't suppress them. He steers them. The energy that was once diffused across endless distractions becomes a laser cutting through limitation. This is the second awakening, the realization that success is not a race to be won, but a direction to be sustained. Inner mastery transforms life from reaction to creation, from being at the mercy of the world to becoming its silent architect. The birth of confidence through consistency. Confidence doesn't arrive one morning like a lightning bolt. It grows slowly, forged by repetition and self-honesty. Modern culture sells quick fixes: hack your mind, manifest instantly, fake it till you make it. But the man walking the path of mastery learns a different truth. Confidence is not faked, it's accumulated. Every small promise kept becomes a brick in an invisible fortress. He doesn't need to announce his strength, he can feel it in the way he moves through uncertainty. Consistency turns doubt into data. When you show up every day writing, lifting, learning, building, the body remembers success even when the mind forgets. This embodied memory breeds certainty. A man who keeps his own word begins to trust himself more than luck. His confidence doesn't depend on outcomes, applause, or validation. It's anchored in proof. I know I can becomes, I have done it before. That shift is irreversible. But consistency isn't glamorous. It means doing the same work when motivation dies, keeping the same standard when no one's watching, and choosing long-term integrity over short-term comfort. It means outlasting the noise. The world celebrates talent. Mastery respects endurance. Every time he resists the urge to quit, he strengthens an invisible muscle called sup, and eventually, this inner strength becomes visible in how he speaks, how he listens, how he leads. Confidence built this way doesn't need arrogance. It's quiet, grounded, unshakable. It doesn't rely on image, possessions, or followers. It's the quiet certainty that whatever challenge appears, he'll adapt, endure, and excel. That kind of confidence is magnetic, not because it seeks attention, but because it radiates composure. People trust those who are steady, and steadiness is born only from consistency. Purpose as alignment, not ambition. Ambition without alignment burns out the soul. In the modern hustle, people confuse movement with meaning, chasing goals that sound impressive but feel empty once achieved. The man of mastery learns that purpose is not something he finds, it's something he aligns with. It's not an external trophy, but an internal compass. Alignment begins when he asks a deeper question. Does what I am pursuing strengthen or scatter my energy? Success without alignment feels like running on a treadmill, fast but stationary. True success feels directional, not frantic. The more he masters his inner state, the clearer he becomes about what matters. He stops chasing everything and starts choosing deliberately. Minimalism becomes his mindset, not just in possessions, but in priorities. Purpose is discovered through contribution, not comparison. When a man aligns his work with his values, even small actions feel significant. A designer crafting with intention, a teacher guiding with patience, an entrepreneur solving real problems, all are expressions of mastery. The world calls it passion. He knows it's alignment. Alignment also refines relationships. When purpose is clear, attraction becomes resonance, not performance. He attracts not through display, but through direction. People sense purpose the way they sense authenticity. It's felt, not advertised. The man who walks with purpose carries a rhythm that makes others feel safer in his presence. That's not charisma, it's coherence. Purpose does not mean the absence of struggle. It means struggle with meaning. When he faces difficulty aligned with purpose, the pain feels like training, not torture. Alignment turns obstacles into architects of character, and when purpose governs ambition, wealth and success follow as byproducts, not as replacements for peace. The wealth of energy, how inner control manifests outer abundance in every generation. People chase wealth as if it were a destination. But the men and women who build lasting empires all share one invisible trait: control over their own energy. Money, opportunity, and influence are mirrors that reflect the way we use attention. When focus is scattered, effort leaks. When energy is unified, effort compounds. The world rewards the person who can stay steady when everyone else is reacting. Energy is the first form of capital. Every idea, business, or relationship is simply energy converted into form. That's why fatigue, cynicism, or impulsiveness quietly bankrupt potential long before a financial crisis ever arrives. The individual who protects his energy through rest, boundaries, curiosity, and deliberate practice builds invisible interest that eventually becomes visible results. He no longer asks, "How do I make more?" but "How do I waste less?" In practical terms, inner control means mastering the rhythm of output and renewal. The modern worker burns out because he treats productivity like sprinting when it is actually breathing. Inhale to learn, exhale to act. A man who respects his own cycles performs with compound strength. He knows that presence in a single negotiation, meeting, or creative hour is worth more than days of distracted motion. The same principle governs relationships. When he shows up fully listening with focus, speaking with clarity, he multiplies connection. People feel the difference between someone half present and someone radiating calm attention. That presence opens doors that ambition alone could never unlock. Abundance, then, is not luck. It's the consequence of energy, managed with precision. The mind becomes an engine, not a sieve. The more he channels inward order, the more the outer world organizes around him. The circle completes, mastery as the real freedom. Eventually, the pursuit of mastery turns paradoxical. At the start, discipline feels like restriction. By the end, it feels like liberation. The man who once feared missing out now realizes he possesses what everyone else seeks: peace of direction. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's no longer being enslaved by what you don't. He moves through the world differently now. Where others chase recognition, he chases refinement. Where others fear solitude, he treats it as a summit. He's not addicted to extremes because he knows stability is the highest luxury. The same focus that built his confidence and success now builds serenity. Outer abundance stops being proof of worth and becomes a tool for contribution. Wealth, influence, and reputation are simply extensions of inner order, not substitutes for it. True mastery is circular. Awareness creates discipline. Discipline creates freedom, and freedom deepens awareness again. The cycle never ends because growth never does. Even in success, he keeps training not out of insecurity but out of respect for the craft of living. He understands that leadership is service, and power without purpose collapses. The world will continue to spin faster new technologies, louder voices, more noise. Yet amid it all, the man who has mastered himself walks at his own pace. His calm becomes contagious, his presence persuasive, his silence eloquent. People sense in him the rarest signal of all, authenticity. And so the circle completes. What began as chaos becomes clarity. What began as control becomes flow. Mastery was never about conquering others. It was about learning to command the inner kingdom from which all outer empires rise. In a noisy, impatient age, that quiet sovereignty is the greatest success a human being can achieve. Before we conclude, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to drop your location in the comments. I love to know where you are watching from, and if you ever have any questions, join our Telegram channel where we interact directly and help each other grow. The link is in the description.